So I took a little break last week because I was in Charlotte, and then I went to the beach. It was just a long weekend, and I just took a break. So I'm posting a video today to make up for yesterday, and then I'll post another one on Thursday. So I'm going to give my top 10 best tips for first-year teachers. And so I have them listed out on my phone if you're wondering why I'm looking down. But so I'm just going to go ahead and get straight to the point. So my first tip, now these aren't in like the best tip. They're not in like order ranked 1 to 10. They're just my top 10. No particular order. But the first one I have is to ask as many questions as you can. There is no such thing as a stupid question in your first year of teaching because everybody knows that you have no idea what you're doing. And it's okay to have no idea what you're doing. Ask. I swear, I asked 10 million questions, I feel like a day, to everyone that would listen to me because you have to learn somewhere. And for a lot of you, your first year teaching, you didn't really get a full student teaching experience like most of us have. And that's what your student teaching is, where you learn most of your strategies, where you learn what works for you. And for those of you that didn't get to finish or had to do it online, it's not the same. So my second tip is to ignore the negativity. Now, I was lucky and I didn't really run into a lot of negativity from my coworkers, but you always hear about that one person at someone's school, or that one teacher, or even just that one person who's just like, oh, you're a teacher? Like, why would you want to do that? Like, don't ignore it, because you know exactly why you set out to be a teacher. You have your why. Those kids need you. You want to make a difference in their lives, and it doesn't matter what someone else thinks. You don't listen to strangers about what you can and can't do. Someone's got to do it. And if you're willing and if you have the heart, we need good teachers. Ignore the negativity because it will burn you out. It will burn you out. Now, my third tip is do not expect to go into your first year and try and figure everything out at one time. One tip that I got from my mentor teacher was to choose one thing every year to become an expert at. So my first year, my focus was parent communication and classroom management. Because if you don't have that, you don't have anything in your classroom. If you don't have classroom management, if you don't have parent communication down pat, you are going to struggle to keep your head above water. Because if you can't run your classroom and your kids don't listen to you, you're in for a rude awakening, and it's going to be hard. So that's what I set out for my last year. I read PD books on it. I went to workshops. I just asked other teachers around, like, what do you do? What works best for you? And you just have to try them. Not everything is going to work for you. So having options and testing things out to see if you like them, if it works well for your kids, and then just sticking with it. And consistency is key. Now this year, upcoming year, my thing was supposed to be small groups. I've been reading the guided reading by Jan Richardson book and the Daily 5, and I'm hoping that eventually I'll get to put them into practice, but COVID is kind of putting a damper on that. So my school has said that we are going to be online for the first 4 weeks as of right now, and then we're going to revisit. So hopefully after 4 weeks we'll be back in the classroom and I'll be able to do at least a little bit of small group work. But my tip to you is to just pick one topic each year and get it down. Because if you're trying to juggle like becoming the best math teacher and the best reading teacher and being great at classroom management and doing all of it in 1 year is going to overwhelm you. So pick one thing each year to be your goal and work on it as much as you can. Now, number 4 is always take up on a professional development opportunity. So your first 3 years, it may not be the same for you, but for me, my first 3 years, I don't necessarily need my CCE credits, CEUs, the credits that you get for professional development to go towards your license. I can't remember the acronym, there are so many. But I don't necessarily need those right now because I have a year by year like license, a trial license basically for the first 3 years. But after that, every 5 years when you renew your license, you have to have so many professional development points to show that you're still continuing your CEUs, because continuing education, I don't know what the U is, but just that you're continuing your education, you're catching up on all the newest trends and the latest teaching strategies, and just that you're practicing. So always take up on it because you learn so much. And I know it's hard because, well, this year it might be easier because a lot of them will probably be online, but I had to take off work for some of mine, and I was already taking off work for my BT trainings once every 2 months, I think it was. So I was taking off for those days, and then I was taking off for PD days, and it gets stressful when you're leaving. You're not there that much in your first year of teaching, but it is worth it. You learn so much. So always take up on professional development opportunities. Now, number 5 is strive for the best relationships with everyone, not just your students. Strive for the best relationships with your students, obviously, their parents, your coworkers, your principal. You're networking. And if you are miserable at your school, it is going to show in your teaching. You have to find the positive in something, in someone, even if it's one thing that maybe you have this one parent that nags you, but you know what? That parent has your back. And if you call like that, you have to stress the positive, the one positive, because if you let the nagging get to you, you're going to get burned out. Please, all these tips basically are ways for you not to get burned out. So you need to find the positive in something and form strong relationships. Find one thing that you can relate to someone about, whether it's, oh, you teach 2nd grade, I teach 2nd grade, or, oh, your favorite color is yellow, my favorite color is yellow, like something. And like, just go with it, because having your tribe or your team, people that are going to support you, is so important. So focus on those relationships, make them strong. Even don't focus on the negative about people, because you're not going to like everyone, but you have to find the positive. One thing, that's my goal for you, is to find one thing in every person that you work with that you like or you can relate to. Number 6 is to have an open mind, because you are probably like me, and you're going to go into your teaching, and you're going to have this idea of everything that you're going to do, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And let me tell you, you're not probably going to do half of it, because your school already has policies set. Your school already has a curriculum. Your school has already been doing all these things for years and years. And right now with COVID being online, things are changing. So you have to have an open mind. You can't just be like, oh no, I'm not doing that, or oh, I don't know how to do that. You have to try. You have to make the best of it. You have to just go with it. It will be okay. We're all going to get through it. I promise you we will. Number 7, you're most likely not going to be a Pinterest-worthy teacher. And that's okay, because let me tell you, there's probably like 1% of teachers that are Pinterest-worthy teachers. Your classroom probably isn't going to be as cute as you envision it in your head. It's not going to be perfect. It's not always going to be clean and organized. You teach, if you're here, probably elementary school, and those kids are nasty. They are gross. They throw things around. They are writing all over everything. There's junk everywhere. Like, it's okay. It's not everyone is Pinterest worthy. Let me tell you right now, I am nowhere near a Pinterest worthy teacher, and I do just fine. I got nominated for Teacher of the Year. I was in a magazine for my school. But guess what? Pinterest, yeah, I like to look at it, but guess what? My room, not even close. Not even close. But guess what? The kids inside, they feel like home. They love their teacher. They love each other. And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what it's look like. It's matter what's going on inside. Number 8. Do not volunteer yourself to do all of the things. Now, it's okay to say, oh, like, no, my school doesn't really have, like, extracurriculars, like, after school. Like, we don't really have a book club, or, like, I've heard a lot of, what is the running club? I can't remember what they call it, but, like, I've heard a lot of teachers say that and, like, if you have one thing that you do after school that's great. But don't say, oh, I'm going to do after school, and I'm going to do the book club, and I'm going to do on all these things. I'm going to be on the sit team, and I'm going to do this and that. And then you're a first year teacher, and you're struggling. Like, it's going to take a lot of time to figure out your curriculum, figure out your lessons, get everything in place, and to practice. Like, you're not going to be able to just go in there and do whatever you want. You have to practice, you have to work on it, you have to study. Like, it's a lot. So, doing all the things, it's okay to dabble in a little things your first year, because you want to be involved, you want to get to know people, but do not do everything. You can't do everything. You're one person. So, do not sign up for everything. Number 9, which is so important, and I still struggle with, is to have a home-work-life balance. Your life is not teaching. Now, my superintendent, I remember at my first year teaching training, he told us this. He said, you do not live to work, you work to live. And I love that, because he's right. Like, you have a job so that you can pay your bills and live your life and do things that you enjoy and pay for things that you enjoy. You're not living to be a teacher. Now, just as any teacher, my heart is so big, and it takes a lot to just step back and be like, look, whether these kids have me or not, they're going to make it. They're going to get there. Whether I'm their teacher or Sally Joe's their teacher, they're going to make it with or without you. You need to take a mental health day if you need it. And I know it's hard when you're a first year teacher, because, you don't always have the days, but you need to have a balance. Now, one thing that I did this year is I set one day a week that I would stay late. It was usually the day we had grade level. I would stay for the grade level meeting, and then I'd stay and get all my stuff done for the week. I would grade papers, I'd get copies done, whatever I needed done for that week, and that's when I would do it. Usually, so sometimes it was Monday, sometimes it was Wednesday, just depended on my schedule, because I tutored on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Friday, do not stay late on a Friday unless you have to. It's the weekend, and try not to take anything home. And I know it's hard, especially in the beginning of the year. You're probably going to be taking things home. You're probably going to be working on things, and that's okay, but do not make it a habit, because you need to have a home-work-life balance. You need to enjoy yourself, but you also need to have a life outside of teaching, because it can't consume you. You will burn out. Burn out. That's all I say. Don't burn out. And my last one is to have a candy stash in your desk that is just for you. Now, whatever the candy that you love is, whether it's chocolate or a Starburst or sour gummy worms or whatever it is, Smarties, have a bag of it in your desk, because you will need it. Now, one thing that I also do with my candy stash is if I know I'm going to have a substitute, I leave on my list that there's a bag of candy in my desk, and I put 2 pieces in a plastic bag with a thank you note, and just to, show my appreciation. They're coming into my classroom, they're picking up the slack for me because I'm not there, and it's just something nice to do. You want to make them feel like they're welcome and wanted in your classroom, so that's something that I do. But candy, you need it. I promise, you'll need it one day. So that's all I have for today. On Thursday, I'm going to be doing a student teacher's tips. So look out for that. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, all the bells and whistles. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.